Did you know that it's possible to boost your muscle growth with the power of your mind? Don't worry, it's not as crazy as it sounds. Today on Clever Gains, we're going to be talking all about mind-muscle connection and how it could be the missing piece you need to improve your muscle growth. To simply put, mind-muscle connection is the ability to focus internally on a specific muscle. It's the intentional squeezing or isolation of a muscle through focusing the mind during a workout in order to target specific gains in specific muscles. We all know that the human brain is the command center of our bodies with a wide range of functionalities, so just as it would require trigger action from our brains, in order to walk, talk, or carry out basic motor functions, we can as well focus on particular muscles we want to improve by isolating them through thought. The idea behind using mind-muscle connection for muscle growth comes mostly from gym-goers over the decades who have noticed a direct link between squeezing or even flexing a particular muscle and a faster growth of that particular muscle whilst doing reps, presses, or lifts. Because this muscle-mind connection theory was initially generated majorly by gym-goers with little to no scientific backing, a second and opposing theory sprung up. It was propped up by a more academic and scientifically sound point of view as well. So, what is this theory? Well, while muscle-mind connection gears the person towards muscle growth via an internal focus on specific targets, the external theory simply states that all those muscle gains will happen anyway as long as the person maintains good form and moves their body naturally in their environment, whilst carrying out the exercise. What that means is that whether or not a person chooses to internally focus on specific muscles doesn't matter, but what instead does are the external factors, that is, factors not specific to the particular muscle. The external focus includes things like breath control, good posture, endurance, and even fickle things like looking in the mirror while you work out. The point with this idea is simply that if you do the weight lifts or the presses naturally with good body posture in space, then the muscles required to carry that workload will automatically get triggered and develop anyway. This school of thought came out rather recently and only really to counter mind-muscle connection. But is it really a counter? The truth is that those two theories doesn't necessarily stand in contradiction. Yes, the external focus is all about getting muscle gains through good form and other more generic external factors, but that doesn't mean internal focus and muscle activation can't give you even more gains. In fact, in the last 2 decades, more and more studies have emerged to support the validity of muscle-mind connection. One study had people do curl-ups whilst internally focused on either their abs or their obliques, and after a short observation period, they found that greater activation occurred at whatever muscle they were asked to focus on. The people who focused on their abs experienced greater activity in that muscle, and those who focused on their obliques experienced greater activity there whilst both sets performed the same curl-ups. Another study carried out on young women saw an increase in activity on their gluts coupled with a decrease in activity in their hamstrings when they performed a lying hip extension whilst using mind-muscle connection to focus on the gluts. Finally, in a recent 2018 study, the researchers took 27 college-aged men and they were randomly assigned to either an internal focus group or an external one. They were put through 8 weeks of biceps and quads routines with progressive intensity and daily monitoring. After the 8 weeks, they measured the hypertrophy of the biceps and quads to see if there was any difference. Indeed, there was. They found significantly more bicep hypertrophy in the internal focus group than there was in the external group. However, the quad hypertrophy was similar for both the internal and external group. What this meant was that group of men who trained for 8 weeks saw massive gains in their biceps growth compared to those of the external focus group who did the same routine only without mind-muscle connection. The external focus group saw gains but not anywhere near that of the internal group. The results of the study also showed that there was no advantage of muscle-mind connection over external focus when it came to gains in the quads, as was indicated by the similar hypertrophy levels of the quads of both groups of men. This was explained by scientists to be purely down to the difference in ease of connection between our brains and our arms, and that between our brains and any other muscle in the body. We carry out a wide range of motor functions or movements in our arms, so it makes sense that we can control them much more easily with our brains than the muscles in our legs. However, the study provided conclusive proof that mind-muscle connection does indeed work if you've got a proper handle on how to apply it for your workout, especially on your biceps. Which leaves us to the most important question and the reason you clicked on this video. How do you in fact properly use the mind-muscle connection to get muscle gains faster and better than others? But before we get into it, if you've been enjoying the video so far, then don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more like it. We've got a video all about how you can get stronger whilst being skinny and many others like it. Check those out too, and thank you. So how do you harness the power of muscle-mind connection for huge gains? Well, ironically, the best way to employ internal focus in your routine is to combine it with external focus. Since the studies demonstrate that the mind-muscle connection is more likely to work with specific muscles, like the biceps or triceps more than others, selective application is the best way to go in general. More specifically, one should employ external focus for heavier compound exercises such as deadlifts or squats, or handling really big weights. Focus on things like good posture, form, and excellent breath control, which will go a long way in handling those exercises and bringing in the gains you want. And then you can reserve the mind-muscle connection to more of the isolation exercises such as bicep curls, leg extensions, and cable flies. These exercises are single joint exercises, so it's far more easier to make the mind-muscle connection and target the specific muscle you want to improve. It's that straightforward. For example, during a bicep curl, you can apply mind-muscle connection to improve the biceps. You can do that by imagining your biceps doing all the work and intentionally attempting to flex your biceps whilst doing the curls. In general, however, it is better to start out with an external focus before moving into mind-muscle connection. This is especially true for beginners. It doesn't matter what they do, they'll see gains anyway, so it makes sense to focus only on good form and environmental factors. However, for more seasoned gym goers, the mind-muscle connection could legitimately be the thing the doctor ordered in order to get those extra gains. So, to wrap it all up, the mind-muscle connection was a technique widely regarded as a myth for so long, but in the last decade or two has begun to receive academic backing. And it is without a doubt one of the most effective ways to get those sweet gains. Give it a try and give our other videos a try. Thanks for watching. See you soon.